What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video I have another unboxing. It's another NG CRP model, and now that I've done this program for a second time, I do have some additional thoughts I want to provide, but I will save that for the end of this video. So I redeemed an older model because I didn't have as many points this time around, and this one model did pique my interest. It says it is retro, and I did want it for the collection. So this is an older release that does not have a card already included. So the invoice enclosed in there, and once again, we do have the model. And it's already got a little sneak peek of it. Let's remove it from the plastic wrap here, and it looks like they did wrap this up in this like saran wrap thing. So after all that, we do have the model, and that's going to be the NG Models ATA Lockheed L1011 Tristar 500. This will be my first Tristar 500 from NG, and my second overall, and only that'd be my third or fourth Tristar that I have in my collection. So happy to build up on the Tristar fleet a little further. Let's head into the studio and unbox this. And here we go for the unboxing of the NG Models 1:400 scale ATA Lockheed L1011 Tristar 500. Love the box art on this model to begin with. So we have the Lockheed L1011 500 logo up here, and then the little Tristar logo there. Got the image of the plane along with a nice background representing the tail design. It's got a little palm tree, sunshine there, and the ATA logo also printed right here. Registration November 161 Alpha Tango, the NG logo, and 1:400 scale collectible models die-cast metal. Bottom of the box, we have the aircraft logo, NG logo, image of the plane, and the registration. On the right side, got a nice little gradient there for like the ocean surface and then the sky. So NG logo, aircraft logo, and just the ATA logo back here. And then the top, same as the bottom, left, same as the right. And then this is the back of the box, 35011. This was released in July of 2020, if I remember correctly. So I was covering NG releases at the time. Don't recall this one being released. I don't think I expressed as much interest in it back then as I did now. So let's go ahead and take this out. And we do have the same packaging in here as with my Delta Tristar that was released a couple years after this one. So with the styrofoam and the plastic base. So let's see. So there's the model inside, which is a bit smaller to accommodate the, what in the, okay, well that is certainly new. There is a weird spot. I have no idea what that spot is, and I really hope that's not a major defect. I'll go ahead and take the model out. I'm not going to touch that spot because I don't even know what that junk is. But I am happy to report that the, oh, nope, there's stabilizers loose. Yeah, it's going to want to come out here, yep. That's a bummer. At least it slides in and it's not going to fall out on its own, so that's good. But I still really want to know, what in the world is that stain? It looks like a gigantic pile of dust. How does that even happen? Because I imagine these things have been just sitting in the box at the NG warehouse for 4.5 years, so how in the hell does that even happen? That's kind of ridiculous. Let me see if I can clean that off. I'm trying to use the plastic here. That's only marginally coming off, so... Oh, there he goes. There's the rest of it's starting to come off now. Yeah, complete blunder there by NG, so I don't even know what happened. But yeah, a little unfortunate that that horizontal stabilizer was loose. At least there's no paint chips or anything that I can see. I don't even know like how does this even happen with this pile of dust? I've never seen that on any model before. Even ones that are far, far older have come in better condition than this. This is kind of ridiculous. So, okay, well, I guess we're just going to have to deal with that. I will have to find some more proper cleaning tools later to properly get rid of the dust spot there. But we do have video proof of it, of how it arrived before I started to try and scrub it off with the plastic. So that certainly didn't do us any favors. So it's kind of unfortunate that the model arrived in that kind of condition. But otherwise, the rest of the model's looking stunning. So we'll go ahead and begin the review here. It's a nice little side profile of the ATA Tristar 500 here, looking really nice. Happy to have it from NG, despite the little deficiencies there. So let's go ahead and begin the review. So starting off at the front, we have the nose cone and the cockpit windows. There's a little emergency hatch up there. We have the L1 door, and then we have the navy blue underbelly here, along with this nice teal line right there. One antenna above the big ATA titles. We move into the L2 door. You also see the registration, or the numbers of the registration printed on the nose gear door. So a little fleet code there. Back to the L2 door right there, and you have a nice little pink line coming into view for part of the livery. And there's the engines, which do have the little sunshine on them. A nice job, camera, for focusing on that as intended. I'll try to get back onto the fuselage there. So there's the L3, a very thin door right there. And then the rear door with the registration and American flag printed underneath. And then there is a lovely ATA tail. So NG did a great job replicating this livery. And then we move to the right side of the aircraft where we do have the R1 door, R2 door, and then other various doors, a couple luggage doors also here as well. There's one up front and then one in the back, and then another look there at the tail. So now check out the bottom of the aircraft, which is looking really good. All the details printed are included, along with 2 antennas down there, looks like. Yep, 2 antennas. And then the top of the aircraft, which has 1 and a couple printed details, and along with this little smudge of dust or whatever the heck that thing is. I don't even know. I have to grab like a paper towel or something. Let me see if I can get the rest of that off. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because this piece of dust here is just bothering me to all sorts of ways. Okay, looks like, yep, now that came completely off this time. A couple little smudges right there. Again, this is probably not recommended to use a paper towel because of the various like wood fabrics or whatever on it that could scratch the model. So I'm trying to be delicate here to only get the areas where the dust was present. So, okay, so that came off nicely. I don't know what that was all about, but either way, we do have that cleaned off and it's looking good as new. So I will have to do some investigation to see how that even happened, but I'm sure there's no definitive answer to how that pile of dust got there in the first place. But you would think with a model that's been perfectly enclosed in a box for so long, dust really wouldn't be able to accumulate, especially in a controlled environment. And I'm sure NG does a good job of monitoring inside their factory. So that will do it for the model review, and then some additional thoughts on the whole CRP thing, because I do have some additional thoughts that I have formed in the time since I redeemed this. So this is back in the, I think this is the August run, and they did this in early August, I believe, so it's now late September, so thankfully a little better lead times. It wasn't 11 weeks, this would be about like 6 to 7 weeks on waiting for this model. Again, still kind of longer than what I would expect. I'd expect maybe like 2 to 3. 6 to 7 is still really long to wait for these things. And I had to wait an extra week because a couple people did get the model in from the retailer I chose, DG Pilot. So I actually had to shoot them an email and see if there was an update on my order. And thankfully they were prompt to send it out right away. They sent it out on a Friday. I got it on a Monday. So good shipping times there from DG Pilot. So I'll give them credit where credit is due. And now the big thing that I do want to talk about is a change in pricing. So it was still $6 for shipping, actually $6.96 technically, so rounded up, that's $7 for shipping. They've now added a manufacturer freight cost. That's a $6 charge, so that means I spent about $13 on what should be a quote-unquote free model. Now, I would have never expected these models to be 100% free because most retailers are already charging for shipping to begin with, so you're kind of having to pay for that. Unless you have an existing order, I know some retailers, they won't charge shipping for that model, so they'll just include it as part of an existing order that you have with them. Say you have like a pre-order with a particular retailer and this like CRP model comes in, they'll usually be nice enough to include it in that order at no extra cost, which I think is a nice gesture. But since I didn't have any existing unfulfilled orders with DG Pilot, they just sent it out as is, and that included the $6 manufacturer freight cost. And thankfully I did receive some clarification as to why they were including these charges on these models now, mainly because they're paying for shipping for these models from NG to them, and they're also trying to cover some other expenses with their employees and other various expenses. The packaging, I know that was another thing they brought up. So I do appreciate the clarification on DG's part as to why they included the cost. But for me personally, I think it's getting a bit ridiculous now that we're having extra fees being applied to these models, because at that point, it's going to defeat the purpose of this program, especially if we're having to pay, you know, all these fees and whatnot, which again, I totally understand why DG put that fee on. They have to recoup some of the losses somehow, so I'm not trying to discredit their placement of the fee. It's just from a general perspective, it's like if we're going to have all these fees be put on these models, then what's the point of this program? Because really the only thing that it adds is that you're just getting these cards and putting them onto an account on NG's website, and then you're just redeeming them and trying to pay, you know, reduced price. But my concern is, will these fees accumulate in the future? Will there be extra fees that we have to worry about because these retailers end up having to pay extra to get these models that are not even going to make a dime off of regularly, because, you know, these are supposed to be free models and they're already charging for shipping to begin with, so you're already paying some kind of fee in the first place. So my concern is, if these fees get to the point where we're spending, you know, 20, 25, 30, 35 bucks, I'm just not going to use this program in the future, because at that point I might as well just go out of my way to buy it normally at full price. Because I don't think a, you know, $20, $30, $35 discount is worth it to wait a few extra weeks to get the model in question. So I don't know how exactly NG could combat this kind of thing, whether it is to sort of regulate fees that retailers could implement, or, you know, if there's really any way to regulate those fees. I don't even know if there would be to begin with. So again, it's a little unfortunate I'm having to pay a little extra for these models that were supposed to be somewhat free in the first place. But again, I understand why DG Pilot put the charge on there. I appreciate them providing me with that clarification as to why they did it, and so that way I know and I can inform everyone as to why they're doing it. But from a general perspective, again, if it gets to the point where these fees increase the price, my threshold is 20 bucks. Once the fees, if they get to the point where it's over 20 bucks, I'm not going to use this program anymore, because at that point I might as well just spend full price on these things anyway, even for the ones that are hard to find. Because I know this ATA, some have told me that this one is a shelf sitter at some places, but I can't really find it in other places to begin with. So I am kind of glad I got this model through the program in the first place. But, you know, with all the other models that they have in the program, I might as well just buy it normally I'll just pay full price and maybe only wait, say, a week to get it, instead of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks or whatever it takes for the CRP thing. And they only do this a few times a year to begin with, so I don't have any extra cards, and this one, of course, didn't come with a card because it was produced before 2022, so I don't really gain anything out of getting this model with the points. So I mean, I kind of wish that they would include cards with these older models that don't come with them initially if you redeem them through this program, because then you can just put it right back in there and get, you know, 10, 12, 15 points, whatever amount that this would be. I think the larger ones are like 12 points, and then the rest of them are all 10 that you get per card off of a model. So overall, that's kind of my thoughts on the program now that I think about it. It might be a little harsh for me to say some of the things I did, but that's just kind of my honest opinion, and a bit brutally honest at times. Again, as I said, if these fees do increase any further, which, you know, I'm not saying that they will, but if they do, then I will be a little more hesitant to use this program again. So I know the next exchange run is in, I think, December. I'm not going to do that one because I don't have enough points to begin with, unless NG has some sort of announcement that's really good that I have to pre-order, let's say, 2 or 3 of them. I've not ordered Triple Crown 1 yet. I don't plan on pre-ordering NGs because, again, there's been consistent delays with past releases, so I don't really trust NG pre-orders right now. If they can get back on a consistent schedule, then maybe I'll start pre-ordering them again, but for now, it's best for me just to wait until the models are in stock at retailers before I order any NGs. It's easier for me that way, and I'm not out 50 bucks for 2 months because NGs delay the models for whatever reason so that they can fix an issue with something in production or just some other general problem that comes up along the way. So that was kind of a long session for me there, but again, just wanted to provide my thoughts on the program, what I think of it now, and, you know, if you want to make your own decisions on it, please feel free to do so. I don't want to force anyone into not using the program or trying to use it because, you know, what I say goes against what they think. I just try to provide my own thoughts just so that everyone knows where I stand with the program, and, you know, feel free to keep using it as you see fit, because I know the program is great. I give NG credit for trying something new. It's just a bit unfortunate now that there are extra fees coming on and sort of de-incentivizing the whole free, quote-unquote, free model aspect of it in the first place. Shipping is one thing, but these extra fees, I'm not so sure of. But again, I do appreciate my retailer providing that clarification as to why they are including those fees in the first place. So, but that doesn't really mean, am I going to keep using this program if these fees do continue to accumulate in the future? And with that, finally end the video here with all of my thoughts. So with that said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.